guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Well, the feminists are slowly going extinct. Not just the ladies, but the fellas too. The adjacent, the male feminists. All these crazy left, they're going away. And not by and ironically by their own choice. That's what's so funny about this. I saw this linked on Twitter today to this story. Let's see, where is it? Is this it? Yes. My husband had a snip of vasectomy at 34. We love being selfish dinks. Now, dinks is dual income, no kid. And that used to be, the dink thing used to be kind of like retired people after the kids were out. You know, they used to call them empty nesters. But then when people were having kids, and then, like my mother, for example, when we kids were old enough to fend for ourselves after school, and, you know, we were in high school or late middle school or whatever it was, my mom went and got a part-time job. She was a dental assistant. It brought in pretty good money. And she wanted something to do because she was kind of bored. And it brought in extra money. And so she put that money towards the mortgage or something like that, if I remember correctly, to pay it off early. But now, not only are these people becoming so selfish, and look, here's the thing. I'm a selfish person too. I've known it. But one of the reasons why I also didn't want kids is it's not so much that I didn't want kids, it's because I don't trust any woman enough to have one with the woman, because I know statistics and I know all these problems. And also, yeah, I am a little selfish. So they say, and I've got multiple links here, multiple stories I'm going to talk about. So it's not just this, but I'll show you how they're going to basically like stop breeding. An Australian man got a vasectomy at 34 so he and his wife could lead a selfish life without children, which entails taking lots of naps and vacationing whenever they want. It's my chance to enjoy a carefree life. Geraldo Uribe told Southwest News Service, living the alleged dream. He and his wife, Indy, 25, are self-proclaimed dinks, dual income, no kids, an apparently growing contingent of couples who abstain from having tykes as they feel it gives them more freedom, financial and otherwise. Now, yes, here's the thing. With the dual income, you've got twice as much money, but you've got two people you're supporting with that. Where if you're a single income, no kids like me, all I have to do is support myself. So I don't have to make as much money because I don't spend as much money as most women do, let's be honest with it. But they say it gives them more freedom. Well, that is true. They say the dink lifestyle is a bit selfish in the best way. The ability to be spontaneous, and they can travel or take naps whenever they want. And so in reality, it allows them to be big kids, big kids without any responsibilities. Now, here's the thing. If you think I'm going to be harsh on this, I'm not. I get it. I'm a big kid myself. I mean, I'm living out in a steel building in the middle of the woods, drinking rainwater, showering from a 5-gallon solar bag, and the white noise you occasionally hear in the background is my solar panel battery system cooling itself off because I've got solar here. So I get it. But the thing is, this seems to be going only one way, this selfishness. And what happens, there's an eternal loop here that happens. Now, she's 25. He's 32, I think they said. Let me see here. Because, so he's 34. She's 25. Is she going to be with him forever? She makes her own money. She's probably successful because they talk about dual income. She's probably successful. She makes her own money. How long will it be until she says, you know what, I don't want you anymore, and then she starts over? Is that really happiness? Is he going to be happy with that? Or later on, if she wants kids, in many cases, once you get the snip, after, I think, 5 or 10 years, even if you can physically reverse it, your body is so used to absorbing the swimmers that you make that there's a chance that you won't be able to procreate. What if she then says, I want kids? Will she leave him and go get it from some other? Maybe. Or maybe they just don't have kids. This is from 2021, just a little while ago, why more women are deciding not to have kids. And what does she talk about? She's 37. She talks about jobs. She talks about freedoms. The freedom that her friends who are parents don't have. And she can spend money. And she can work. And her career is her kid. They don't want responsibility. They fear a lack of support. So they're afraid to trust men in being, the provider for the family. Why? Because they keep getting told that men are awful. They like their life as it is. But they say they're still judged for their choices. Not really much anymore, I don't think. And then this one too. Want to fight climate change? Have fewer children. So the left gets these messages, and they're like, oh, have less kids for climate change, and work, and you won't be able to live your best life. And what if a man decides to do his own thing, or what if you want your career? Well, that's surprisingly a large number of the left. And here you've even got there's so many things that debunk this about the climate change. They say have fewer children. So they're like, oh, I'm being responsible. I'm being a good human being by not having kids. Here's the truth of it. This is from Yahoo News back in 2019. They say Republicans have more kids than Democrats. A lot more kids. Right. Because the left believes in the climate, and the kids, and stop eating meat and being career, power broker, boss girl. And the conservative women are like, nah, fam, that's not for me. I want to love a husband and have a man, and it doesn't mean they don't turn around when they're 20 years older and decide to divorce him either. It doesn't mean that. But statistically speaking, your odds are better with a conservative woman. They say liberals are not having enough babies to keep up with conservatives. Arthur Brooks, a social scientist at Syracuse University, was the first to point this out all the way back in 2006. So almost 20 years. Gosh, can you believe 2006 is almost 20 years ago now? What is that, like 17 years ago? My gosh. When he went on ABC News and blew staters' minds. The political right is having a lot more kids than the political left. The gap is actually 41%. That is huge. Data on the U.S. birth rate from the General Social Survey confirms this trend. A random sample of 100 conservative adults will raise 208 children, while 100 liberal adults will raise a mere 147 kids. That is a big gap. And I think statistically, you have to raise something like 2.1 or 2.2 kids just because of life accidents and bad things happening and everything. You need a replacement rate of about 2.1 or 2.2. The conservatives are hitting that. Actually, 100 conservative adults. Wait, is that right? 100 conservative adults will raise 208 children. Maybe they mean 101 conservative couples. Because otherwise you're talking about, that's 50 pairs of people. 100 adults would be 50 married people raising 208 kids. That's an average of 4 per family. I don't think that's what they mean. So when we collected the number of children per capita in each state and then compared the data to statewide voting records, we found that the trend is so strong that it can even be observed at the state level. Red states came out with significantly more kids per capita than the blue states. There are, of course, social political reasons why Republicans might have more children. Conservatives tend to live in sprawling rural or suburban communities and are often social conservatives who eschew, taking the pill and not deleting their kids, which, of course, the left does. What's interesting, though, is they say not that it makes much of a difference because staunch conservatives who are procreating to stack the ballot box are likely to be disappointed by their Occupy Wall Street children, and it's unlikely the political fertility gap will have any bearing on how adults vote, although it's true that some studies suggest 70% of teens vote like their parents. Now, this will tell you why they're trying to do all these lessons in the school and trying to get them in with the LDHD TV communities, and why they're trying to tell parents that you need to let the school teach your children and not you. It's because they're not having enough kids, so they want to brainwash the conservative families' kids to be more like them. I mean, it's literally right here. So I find this really interesting. So it does mean that the left, ironically, by deleting all their kids and by And by not having any at the same rates and for all the different reasons, they're kind of going extinct. And this explains everything. If you wonder why right now they're going so hard for these, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade kids to do the flips and to become part of the LDHD TV community, it's because they think, hey, you know what, if they go in and they get this and they do these things with the inhibitors and all this other stuff, they're going to be permanently part of us. One of us. One of us. Gooble, gobble, one of us. That's what they're doing. And so it'll be really interesting to see what comes out of all this. But if you had any doubts, it's right there for you that they're running out of people, so they're coming for your kids, man. I'm telling you. Guys, don't forget to join us on betterbachelor.locals.com. I'm going to be slamming all these up over here on Locals. I don't know if you can actually, I don't know if I can set them on a schedule over on Locals, so they may just get dumped over there. I'm going on taking a few days off to go up north to put my father's ashes in the creek that he used to play in, or river. I don't know which one it is. He used to play in as a kid. So I'm going to be taking this weekend off, but I'll get this content out for you. But again, become a supporter today. It's like $5 a month. It keeps me free from Big Mama YouTube, and I'd appreciate it very much.